What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Luis King Kong Ortiz. According to his trainer, Hearn, he states that Eddie Hearn is not telling the whole truth about the negotiations. He says that there is nothing there. They are talking by themselves. That's Eddie Hearn talking to himself and thinking that Luis is answering him. That's a lie. That we didn't want the fight, that we let it fall through. Yes, it was discussed once, and it was said to send a contract. Have you seen it? Salcedo told George Ebro. He did not send a contract, and he did not intend to send it. He really did not want the fight, and I do not blame him. 4 weeks to prepare for a lefty puncher who can box. I would have been better to have said that he did not have enough time to prepare for Ortiz. The best thing would have been to say that we are going to give Ortiz a chance within 10 weeks. He says, there is no problem with making the fight later on, as Hearn has indicated that Ortiz can be next. Why not? The main thing is that they negotiate in good faith and that they really want to fight. If you do not send the contract and sign it, what are we talking about? You can mention $20 million, but without a signed contract, what good is for me? That's what the trainer said. Okay. What good is it that? No, it says, what good is it for me? It's a typo. Okay. Now, my problem with this is my problem. I have no problem with Luis Ortiz being next. I don't think he'll be next, and I'll give you my reasons for that. I believe I've already done that in other videos, but this is when was this article? This article was on the 13th, okay? The article was on the 13th. When did these negotiations go through? 2 weeks ago? That's my whole big stink about Luis Ortiz's whole fucking team. They are always a week or 2 weeks behind time. Have you guys noticed that? Like, it's always something where something gets said, something gets mentioned, something supposedly gets offered, and it's like they wait like a week and a half later, 2 weeks, because it's been 2 weeks since Eddie Hearn revealed how much he offered Luis Ortiz, right? If that was a lie, why in the hell did they come forth and said, you know what he's saying is bullshit? And this isn't coming from his promoter, his manager, Jay Jimenez. This is coming from his trainer. The same trainer that said, hey, what do you mean? We would have took the fight. What are we talking about? How does he know the contract wouldn't sign? Is he familiar with contracts? Did he go over it with Luis Ortiz? Is this another Wilder situation where the trainer is also the manager? Is that what we're looking at? Because according to this article, this is all this trainer's talking about. Well, hey, if you don't send the contract, then there's no fight. Duh. Yeah, there's no fight if you don't send the contract. I just got through making a video about Wilder, about contracts. You can't say you offered someone an amount of money and don't have a contract supporting it. We just talked about that. So I don't know what this guy's talking about. He's saying, oh, this has been false and this, that, and the other. Well, all those damn interviews, and Eddie does a lot of interviews, okay? He did that on IFL TV. That shit's almost viral right now. It's been out there. It's been said. He's already threatened before he made that video to expose what he really offered Team Luis Ortiz, okay? And it was $7 million. Now they're saying, oh, it could be 20, but there's no contract. You see, he never intended to sign it. Now, the one thing he did kind of shed some light on, or it kind of opened my eyes. Maybe it was a lefty thing. Let's entertain that. Well, maybe it was Joshua that hey, they were training for Miller, and then like you go from Miller to a much dangerous fighter, or possibly much dangerous fighter than Ortiz, coming from another stance, coming from the southpaw stance. Maybe it was something that they felt uncomfortable to want to bank on at that point. You know what I mean? Because you could ask yourself, like, okay, if it fell through and Jay Jimenez, and, you know, admitted that the promotional company, Luis Ortiz, you know, wanted more money or whatever the case is, and didn't say he was ready, because that's exactly what the trainer said. Well, I said he was initially wasn't ready for the fight. Now you're saying I would have took the fight when you know the shit's not even available on the platter. So I don't get why these guys are now coming back and saying this shit now. You know, but back to the entertaining part. Well, if Joshua, he might have needed, what, 4 or 5 weeks to start training for a southpaw. That might have been difficult. It might have been, because you want to know what your strategy is. And then it's a shit sandwich, and everyone has to take a bite simply because Jarrell Miller popped dirty. Because he was supposed to be the guy that helped promote the fight, that helped get the fight to New York, was also a New Yorkan, was also a guy that promoted himself. You know what I mean? He promoted a lot of things. And those things got him where he was. But it got pissed down the toilet like some stinky piss, okay? It was flushed. So now we have to deal with a southpaw? Maybe. You know, maybe that was the concern. That could have been. You know, it's not out of the question. But that does not solve the fact that why is this motherfucker all of a sudden saying, oh, Eddie Hearn is not telling the whole story? You see what I'm saying? Like, why are these guys talking like they're on 56K knowing damn well we have high-speed internet? We have cable internet. These motherfuckers act like they're on dial-up when it comes for receiving information. And it's retarded. And I don't understand why they would make this same coach that said, hey, yeah, well, initially you said he wasn't ready, so, you know, and that wasn't enough, or whatever the case was. So the thing is, why are these guys just now getting this information out? You know, it's like they're changing tune. Now they're saying, oh, the contract wasn't there. You know, was it ever sent? You know, question was it ever sent? You know, like, if Eddie, I was expecting something more tangible than him saying that, because see, anyone now can say, hey, Eddie never had a contract. Eddie never intended the Anthony Joshua fight to fight Luis Ortiz because he was just that dangerous, and if he knocked him out, he would lose everything for a high risk and a low reward like Luis Ortiz. That could have been the narrative, but that will be the narrative if Eddie Hearn doesn't start putting a stamp on this thing when it comes to providing evidence that we know without a shadow of a doubt that, hey, I sent these motherfuckers the email of the contract, you know. But of course we won't know that unless Eddie has to come out, because then it's gonna go back and forth, you know. But this trainer wasn't saying this shit 2 weeks ago. In fact, for 2 weeks, no one was saying shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're happy to see hopefully a match with Ortiz and Joshua on down the line, but here's the deal. Saying that, oh, Eddie Hearn never sent the contract, I don't think that will help negotiations with Team Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? Because supposedly Eddie got pissed at Ortiz, or at Ortiz's character and behavior when they put that damn Instagram post on the wall saying, hey, there's a no-go. I mean, whose fault is that? That's Team Ortiz's fault. They shouldn't have done something that careless and premature. You know what I mean? Because that was supposedly what set Eddie Hearn off. Like, this motherfucker, I offered him this amount of money, $7 million, and they said they'll take it, and this, that, and the other. So that's the thing about that, man. I think that there's a lot of holes in this. I think that Herman he's probably trying to save face because, again, you wouldn't wait this damn long, 2 weeks down the stretch and say, oh, well, he didn't sign a contract. You know what I mean? It's real sketchy to me. But anyway, I'll leave the article below. Let you guys check it out. Should he fight Ortiz in the fall? Will he fight Ortiz in the fall? Who's lying, who's not? You guys tell me. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.